Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Tragics. It's great to be back talking footy early in the week. We don't say what day we film on, do we? But we welcome Nick Armstead. How are you, Nick?
I'm very well, Lenny.
Why don't we say what day we film on?
Well, sometimes editing can take a lot longer than expected.
It doesn't go up live, so we're not live.
Correct.
Right, yeah.
Correct. Although we film like we're live.
No, I thought it was live the whole time. I thought our viewers were loving it and taking it all in now as we talk to each other.
That's the next step.
It was great to have a live audience in the show last week. Did that applause
did that sound in the background?
Sounded great.
The applause.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll get it again though, but anyway. What was your highlight of the weekend?
Well, something that caught my eye was the University Blues and Olds Variance game. I was watching the tape afterwards, and John Cannis, who's part of the Inner FM call team, obviously, was just talking about this ruck contest that Ace Cordy found himself in against Jason Holmes, and he questioned how far you can run with the ball without it being called holding the ball. So just take a look at this.
Winter's Day in Melbourne, barely a breath of wind. Ace Cordy just takes it out of the rack. They couldn't get to him, so he got the handball to Harper. How far can you run with the ball without it being called holding the ball?
If you missed that, we're just going to show that one more time.
Winter's Day in Melbourne, barely a breath of wind. Ace Cordy just takes it out of the rack. They couldn't get to him, so he got the handball to Harper. How far can you run with the ball without it being called holding the ball?
Well, John, when you don't get tackled, you can run as far as you want. Just ask Tom Jock, who earlier in the year only took 2 bounces and ran about 100 metres. And there you go, that's what caught my eye, Lenny. Just a bit of an off-the-cuff comment from Cannis there, so I'm no doubt hear about that during the week.
Not sure where he was going.
No.
It's a strange... We've got to take the ball out of the ruck, and if you can get away from them, play on.
Correct.
I think a lot of ruckmen do panic, though, when they do take it out of their lot. They've got to get rid of it straight away.
Yeah, it was a good don't argue, too, by the way.
Yeah, very good. Plenty of highlights for me from the weekend. Starting with Masala, first senior win of the year. Like, kudos to them. Great result for the club. They've been battling away for about 5 or 6 years now in the comp, and they've had more winning seasons, but also any time you're getting your first win of the year is a good thing. I also like Ben Higgins' performance. Kicked 4 goals on the weekend.
Great. Swinburne?
Swinburne, yeah, for Swinburne against Albert Park. Unfortunately for Ben, Bagger 4 just doesn't cut it these days because Riley Livingston's kicked 13.
That is unbelievable.
And for the rest of the team, donuts. So they've kicked Livingston 13 and Higgins 4 of the 17 goals.
Have you ever actually heard anything like that before?
Well, I'm sure it's happened before, but I don't recall it in a while.
13 of 17.
Yeah. Great work, Swinburne Uni. So they're doing something right down there. Speaking of goals, we've got a big show coming up. We're going to talk leading goal kickers, and one of the leading goal kickers, in fact, of all the Metro competitions, is Chad Jones from St Bernard's. He's going to join us later on in the show, so stick around for that, St Bernard's fans. Right, on to William Buck Premier. Some big results on the weekend. Huge. I'm not sure where you want to start, because you saw De La Salle blow St Kevin's off the park.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you what, earlier in the day, you just had this feeling, I don't know why, I don't know if St Kevin's looked a bit lethargic in the warm-up, what it was, but De La Salle were just on from the get-go. They kicked 7 unanswered goals in the first quarter. They squandered a couple of other opportunities, so they probably could have been more than 48 points ahead at quarter time. I know Scob were missing quite a few players, and it was probably De La's best performance in the past 2 years. But that's something they really needed. Now they're up to 6 on the ladder and a game clear of relegation.
Can they squeeze into the 4?
Well, they're only a game and a half out. And I mean, that's the beauty of it. Zav's above them and OM's below them. They're all just a game and a half behind Old Trinity.
Old Trinity did a good job, though, of making it difficult for everyone else with a big win over Old Brighton.
That was unbelievable. Out of the Brighton Beach Oval as well, where Brighton have actually started to struggle a little bit recently. They were leading by 7 points at the first break, but there was the second quarter where the Tees kicked 12 goals to 3, second and third quarter. And how's his Seb Nicolosi, 5 goals, and Harry Tinney, one of our favourites, kicked 4 goals. So that's a season high for him.
The game that probably had the most riding on it was OM's and St Bede's Mentone Tigers at Elstonwick Park, and OM's came through with a first win in 5.
Yeah, they did. They had
6.
They had, well, exactly, 5 straight losses. They had 5 changes from the week before. It was just a fantastic effort. They were only leading by 4 points at 3-quarter time, and they were against the wind in that last quarter. So we were all looking at live scores at our respective venues and thinking St Bede's are probably going to get this done. But to their credit, OMs were fantastic. Josh Freezer, again, another best on-ground performance. Another
Josh, the Tragics own Josh Cowan, disappointingly not playing. How costly is that, considering they only went down by 10 points, and how pivotal he's been this year?
Well, he probably gives them that little bit of polish that they lacked on the weekend. He's been kicking goals as well.
Yeah.
He's been kicking bags of goals, so he was a massive loss for them.
Yeah, disappointing result for them. Another one that was disappointing was Old Scotch, who we thought maybe they'd rallied after losing a few in a row. They got a win a couple of weeks ago, and then going down to Collegians, albeit who are the top side by 27 points. But some ugly news possibly on the injury front.
Yeah, it looks like Nick Jamieson might be out for the rest of the season. What we're hearing is his ACL. So if that is correct, that just leaves Jack Bull basically one out, because they've been in 1-2 punch and been dominating for Scotch this year. And while they go to battle relegation, they are in 9th position. They're a game behind. That's a massive hit for them.
Collegians though, Will Johnson, 5 goals back amongst the goals.
Yeah, he's back amongst the goals. George Burberry kicked 4, so it's probably his best game since the Big V. And I'm loving the work of Campbell Walker, and obviously Sam Hibbins, who we know, but Campbell Walker he's a first-year player, came down from the NEFL, he's kicked 3 goals, just a young buck. Looking
at the fixture next week, is there a game that really stands out? Obviously we've got the week off this week for the Premier sides, but forecasting 2 weeks ahead, which game really stands out?
Well, I think St Bees versus Uni Blues. I mean, because Uni Blues lost to Old Zavarians on the weekend, they've now plummeted into 8th spot. So they're only half a game above Old Scotch. So if St Bees can get that done, and that's at Brindisi Street Oval, that is going to make it really hard for Uni Blues, who we said a week ago will probably play finals.
Winner of Old Zavs and De La Salle probably puts paid to their effort to try and make finals as well. So another crunch game. If one of those, whoever wins that game, could possibly still make the 4.
Most certainly, especially because Old Trinity have Old Burnians, who are again trying to miss relegation.
In Premier B, Parkdale and Mazanod was the game of most interest. 3 points Mazanod went down by at Central Reserve.
Yeah, and they were trailing by 35 points at half-time. They clawed their way back in the contest. Obviously, they lost by 3 points, but look at this fantastic goal by Ben Phibbs with only halfway through the 4th quarter, which put Mazanod in front. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough as Dylan Glasgow kicked the game winner with just 3 minutes to go, and you can see the Parkdale boys all get around in there. That was a crucial win for Parkdale, but devastating for Mazanod.
Great to see Phibbs still running around kicking goals like that as well. Uni Blacks and Old Hailery, the Bloods almost pulled off a big win over the Blacks.
They were winning for most of the day, Old Hailery, but it was only to that last quarter where the Uni Blacks rallied with 5 goals to 1, so that was a fantastic effort by them. But Uni Blacks probably haven't been firing on all cylinders in the past few weeks, just taking it easy prior to finals.
Caulfield's little run could still happen.
Well, you mentioned it. You mentioned Bo Morris went down.
That's the big percentage booster that they need.
Yep. So that finals is not off the cards. I kind of scoffed at you last week.
180-point turnaround in percentage terms for Caulfield. They've won by 115 and Bowie went down by 66. They have to have belief, surely. 3 games to go. They're a big sniff still. And St Bernard's will talk about more when Chad Jones comes in. In Premier C, Peninsula and Old Geelong. What a game.
What an outstanding game for Peninsula. They've now won 2 in a row. They were trailing by 23 points at halftime, and they've ended up winning by 1 point. And you can imagine the scenes at the Pirates too. They really get around
great
it.
To see. No, these scenes unbelievable.
And so now they're on 4 wins.
Yep.
The same as Old Mantonians, who had a loss on the weekend.
Yep.
So relegation they could avoid, which you wouldn't have said 6 weeks ago.
So 3 more wins, and they could keep doing this. This is fantastic, and we love the Pirates here at the Tragics. It's fair to say, particularly because of all the puns that came out. Wasn't overly thrilled with your pun in the Premier section report.
What one was that?
Formality.
I thought that was elite. We workshopped that in the office for about half an hour.
Not sure about that. They need a new headline.
Shocking.
I reckon. Old Ivanhoe and Old Camberwell. Great game at Chelsworth Park. Old Camberwell, though, their little run has sort of stalled a bit.
It has a bit. They've obviously lost 2 in a row now. But Old Ivanhoe, on the flip side, have won 2 in a row quite comfortably, and 2 big wins. Congratulations to Michael Del Monte. It was his 150th game, obviously the brother of Adrian, and he took this screamer. So a good way to celebrate his 150th there by just getting on the back of a couple of Old Camberwell boys. But Ben Hart, obviously back to his best Sakurai medalist for the Wellers.
Marsland also had a big day out, kicking 152 win over St Mary's as well at Ferndale.
Yeah, St Mary's found it tough.
Yeah,
that's fair to say.
That'd be their biggest loss of the year, I think.
It would be.
Yeah. We'll take a break. We're going to speak with Lucy Lekic about the women's finals, which are this weekend, right after this.
Anytime is the right time to get fit at Anytime Fitness. Access over 400 gyms across the country 24/7 and discover why more Australians train at Anytime Fitness than any other gym. Go online and register now for your free 7-day pass and feel something better.
Time now to talk women's footy. We welcome to the desk Lucy Lekic. Lucy, how are you?
Well, Lenny, how are you?
Very well. Finals fever in the air. You excited?
Yeah, it's going to be great. Can't wait.
What are the games that you look at and you sit there going, these are the ones that I really want to, make sure people should get down and watch, and that you're thinking are going to be great games?
Well, in the Premier, I think, both of them. I mean, there's 2. There's Marcellin, Melbourne Uni, and then there's There's Q versus Scob, so I've been monitoring that, and they're all really close in the league, so it's going to be exciting, I think, to watch those teams in action. Then also I think it's particularly remarkable that a number of new teams in the VAFA, that they've all made finals for the very first time as a new club. So in Div 3, we have to look forward to MCC. They're a new team versing the Preston Bullets. Then in Div 2, we also have Old Melburnians' new team. They're up against Old Ivanhoe. And then also in Prem B, White, Old Scotch new team, against
Morris.
Bowie.
Yeah,
That's right.
Do they go in with a bit of apprehension after losing on the weekend to Old Brighton?
Yeah, like perhaps I would, they're not going in with momentum as they would have liked. With the last round, you want to win that one. So perhaps a bit of apprehension, but, I mean, they really want to win this one. They're going to have all the girls up and about, I think. So I think they'll be up for it.
Q also a new team as well. So five clubs that are new playing finals that could win their first flag. Of course, 5 teams won their first flag in their first year last year as well.
That symmetry.
Yeah, very good.
Beautiful.
In the Premier section, who do you think's likely to progress from that first semi? Q or St Kevin's, given the closeness? It'll be Q.
Well, they've got it at the home ground, Victoria Park. They've had really good form there this season, and I just can't get past some of their plays. Like Michaela Harding, she got 39 touches on the weekend. She's just dominated all season, along with Danny Calotti. Again, 2 goals, and then Crystal Shaw, 5 goals on the weekend. So many key players.
So given that, who's going to meet Q in the preliminary final, Marcelin or...
So who's going to lose? Okay.
Exactly right.
I think it's Marcelin's going to lose to Melbourne Uni.
So Melbourne Uni go into the grand final.
Yep. And
get a week off, and Marcelin and Q will fight it out.
Yeah, and then if that happens, I think Q will probably win that too.
So Marcelin straight sets.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling.
Their men's team, which has had issues with straight sets in recent years as well, which would be very good. The other one of interest, I think, is Premier B Blue women's, particularly given West Brunswick and St Mary's Salesian. Of course, Nick they won the flag last year.
Yeah, St Mary's beat them by a point.
And then West Brunswick undefeated all year, and they've been rolled by St Mary's in the last round of the year.
So yeah, St Mary's actually had, I guess, a bit of a slower start to the season. We thought they might be doing a bit better, but West Brunswick were the team to beat the whole season, and they maintained that top of the table positioning. But then, in that final round, St Mary's has come good. I think they got back a few of their players like Tash Rapos.
I think Beck Grant didn't start the year at St Mary's either. I don't think she did either. She's come through and she's been a star.
Yeah, and some girls have really lifted, so I think they've perhaps retained a bit of form that they'd lost earlier in the season, and they could be a potential threat.
My question is, West Brunswick, are they a bit nervous? Because clearly they've lost the grand final.
They probably held their cards close to their chest, rested a few players, and they'll be good to go.
They finished top in both reserves and seniors, so they're going to be the hunted.
That's the calculated loss, a bit like Old Paradians.
Yeah, correct. We put the Moz on them, I think, last week.
You need to have a calculated loss before finals, and we might ask Chad about that about St Bernard's later on, where they need to drop one before they roll into September. Finally, Caulfield, your side, are they going to progress through in the reserves?
Oh, I hope so. They've had a win and a loss to their opponent this weekend, so that's Fitzroy. So it'll be a close encounter, I think. But we're going to have so many girls there supporting on the weekend, and just try and bring it home for them. I think they want to keep going, keep progressing, and they're a great team. They get along really well together.
Enjoy home finals for all the women's teams this week. So make sure you get to the ground, support the girls as they embark on their pursuit of glory. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
After the break, Chad Jones is going to join us at the desk. Welcome back to the Tragics. Big next 10 minutes or so talking St Bernard's footy, because we've got Chad Jones, who's returned to the action this year, just donning a few goals and playing in a very good side. How's it going? But winning every week at St Bernard's.
Yeah, going well. Boys are up and about, and we're travelling well, so no, I can't complain.
Is it enjoyable when you go out and you've got that confidence about the whole side that you think we should be able to, if we do everything right, we're just going to win today?
Yeah, I think when your team's playing good footy and you're winning, I think it's a lot more enjoyable, like you said. It's just that confidence that you're backing each other in, and you know that if you stick to what you do well, you can usually get the result, which is always a good feeling.
You've played a lot of footy. Is this the most dominant team you've been a part of?
Probably guys in some other teams might not like me to say yeah, but no, I've been lucky enough to play in some great teams. Yeah, and like I said, it makes your footy so much more enjoyable, and I think it makes you own individually and also as a collective play better footy as well when you are playing in teams like that. So yeah, it's very enjoyable.
You obviously played in the 2015 flag, so you're obviously confident going in that grand final. How does this year compare to 2015 back in Weenbuck Premier?
I think that it's probably just a good for the guys that are still around. We've got a lot of new guys that sort of can take some experience from that, but my view is that we had a pretty good year before that too from the premiership, but couldn't make it through from there. So you sort of always got to have that confidence and lean on that, but not take anything for granted. Yeah, it's always a challenge to progress through finals, but also win the big ones. So yeah, just got to make sure we can continue what we're doing and try and get ourselves there to start with.
A couple of guys from that 2015 side now starting the stuff at AFL level. Do you recall those two young guys, Hannon and Ronk, back at the club then?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, heaps of talent. Yeah, and to come down and sort of witness those guys and see them playing at that level and so much raw talent, to see them go on and do the things that they're doing now on the MCG and things like that's pretty great for the guys down at the club to be able to sit there on a Friday night or whatever and watch them play is fantastic.
So you retired after that 2015 flag. You had 2 years off. Why'd you come back?
I think the body felt pretty good after a couple of years off, less bangs and bruises, and I just wanted to get back into some footy. So I was just trying to keep fit and yeah, just miss the sort of the club and the team culture and just being around some mates and having a bit of run around and playing some footy. I thought I can look back on it and probably not regret hanging the boots up too early, and thought I might be able to get around for another season at least. So
there's obviously a lot of football to go this season. You haven't won the flag yet, but if you guys do progress to Weenbuck Premier at the end of this year, will you stick around?
Yeah, we'll make a decision at the end of the year, but it's funny when you're young, you think that you know, you can play for as long as you want and do whatever, and you look at some of the old guys and they say, oh, it's a week at a time and a year at a time and reassess at the end of the year, and you sort of laugh at them and say, whatever mate, what are you talking about? But when you get a little bit older, you understand that makes a little bit more sense that yeah, you can't go on forever, so just try and focus on the moment, get through the year and make decisions based after that.
Well, you must be feeling all right. You're kicking bags at the moment. How's the body pulling up after the game at the moment?
Yeah, I suppose straight after the game and day after, I might give you a different story, but nah, pretty good. Just yeah, ticking over and touch wood, it can hold up for me, but yeah, feeling pretty good.
Nice to have the young fella being able to come and watch you.
Yeah, it's been sort of first bit of footy I've been able to play where the little fella can get down and have a bit of a look and run around the field. I think he's more interested in the park at times at the playground at the back than
doesn't like the team song though. Is it right?
No, he's come in for a couple of team songs where we've had the win and a bit loud for him in a couple of the change rooms and starts to tear up a little bit. So
tell us a little bit about Bomber Riley. Obviously came over a couple of years ago after you won the flag. He's got a few famous lines, I'm led to believe, but you know, how are the boys taken to him? Or have you taken to him since coming back?
Yeah, I think the boys have taken to him really well. He's just a really honest guy. Will tell you how it is, but I think that's a quality, especially with coming from Anthony Rock as well, that the guys are really, you know, understand where he's coming from, demands a lot.
He must love you though.
I think he loves all the players. He loves all the players.
Does he have a favourite?
Probably his son would be his favourite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he loves the players, and like you said, you know what you're going to get from Bomber and what he expects from you, so it doesn't matter where you are, if you're the oldest player or the youngest player. Yeah, it's good that everyone buys in and listens to him.
Now, you've had seasons like this in the Waffle, you know, up in the 80s, approaching 100. You're approaching 100 now. You've kicked, obviously, Nick mentioned the bags. It's got you to 80. 20 to go in 3 weeks. Are you a chance?
Depends who you talk to. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm just lucky at the moment that the guys, like you said, we're winning a lot of games of footy, and the guys are playing really good.
Throw a bit of limelight on yourself.
Nah, I'm a big believer in you're only as good as your midfield and teammates. The defence is holding up incredibly well for us at the moment.
I'll ask Nick then. The run home's Caulfield at home, Monash Blues away, and Ajax away. Can he do it?
Absolutely, he can do it. 22 goals over the past 2 weeks. I don't want to embarrass you, but you've got teams there fighting off relegation, so they're not the strongest teams in the competition, and Caulfield,
that can present still make challenging games if you're fighting relegation.
Yeah, correct.
That's the interesting part of the comp.
Correct, but I think current form, I think he can do it, and he's leading all Metro goal kickers at the moment, so keep that
I
up.
don't think there's a car on the line for winning that, though.
Nah, just bragging rights, surely.
Tell us about the teams you played this year. Obviously, Carey rolled you about round 2 this year. So were they able to beat you in round 2, and why has no one else been able to replicate that since?
I think it was early on. We still had a lot of new players in the team early on in the season there. Going out to Carey was a really wet day out there. And they just played really good footy. They just played a lot better, a lot harder at the contest, and we were still just trying to find our feet with a lot of new people in the team, a lot of the young guys that just came up to senior footy. So, yeah, like we've had plenty more tough games throughout the year, just been lucky enough that we've got on the end of wins. So, yeah, we're under no illusions that every game, whether it's the top teams or coming into some of the lesser teams on the ladder, they're hard games every week. So we've got to be, ready to go and fight up each week.
Can you tell us about a couple of those young boys? Obviously, Benny Huggard played Big V, Luke Delizio played Big V, and how they've come along this year?
Yeah, so coming back to the clubs, probably where I wasn't involved in them a lot and heard some great things about them, but to see them sort of evolve throughout the year, yeah, just so impressed with the way they go about it and the skill that they have. Yeah, even some of the guys like your Harry Kennedys, all these type of guys are coming through the school, through the development programs. I think it's a great testament to the club as to what they're able to achieve with these guys through development. And as you mentioned earlier, even potentially these guys going through the VAFA into VFL and then even bigger onto AFL. It's fantastic for these guys.
Yeah, the program at the Snow Dogs is unbelievable in terms of their development pathways and the junior stuff that they do there. Sensationally run football club. Chad, have you got anything else?
Let's go one more.
One more, go.
It has been a hot topic, and I don't know if you listen to the VAFA podcast. I assume you probably do tune in.
Every week, yeah.
Yeah. But Joey Pignataro has got a bit of a vendetta against the VAFA, basically, because St Bernards apparently aren't wearing their original strip because it looked too much like old Carey's. And so the VAFA forced them to change to the black and yellow stripes that you're currently in. Would you like to wear the original strip for St Bernards if you're allowed?
I would.
Do you even know what it looks like?
I don't know what it looks like. I'll ask Piggo.
That's a yes, though.
Chad, it's been great having you on. Good luck for the next 3 weeks and for finals to come as well. We'll be keeping a close eye on you.
Thank you.
What's your celebration going to be if you make 100?
Probably pretty low key.
Just maybe let's wave to the camera to say g'day to us.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Good on you. Chad Jones from
Thanks,
St Bernards there. Good luck for the final 3 weeks of the year. We'll be back to wrap up the show right after this.
Anytime is the right time to get fit at Anytime Fitness. Access over 400 gyms across the country 24/7 and discover why more Australians train at Anytime Fitness than any other gym. Go online and register now for your free 7-day pass and feel something better.
Welcome back to the Tragics. Time now to take a look at the best use of social. We've got the big questions to come and also, and that should do it, I think. But best use of social, Nick, why don't you kick us off?
Well, I'm loving the next generation posts at the moment. It's these clubs that are getting around these posts of their younger kids that are around the footy club and watching.
Oh, Kerry started it a couple of years ago, the next generation.
Yeah, they did actually. Next gen, the hashtag,
Yeah.
I remember that. So you take a look at a couple of these. Adrian Indovino was with his #1 fan, had Adrian's 27 on the back. The Bo Morris women, I'm absolutely loving this. They're singing a team song with the young girls in the middle singing the song alongside them.
Yep.
And there's a fantastic shot here of a couple of young Westbourne Grammarians fans. But it just reminds me of my favourite social media for the year, young Maxie Lynch, who obviously was giving his dad a bit of a love before his 250th for St Kevin. So I just want to show you a couple of highlights of him yet again.
Yay! Daddy, oh boy! Daddy, oh boy! Daddy, no back that yo!
And so I'm just loving that, Lenny, the next generation post. Keep it up, guys, because it's fantastic stuff.
It's amazing how many VAFA mini jumpers you see around with Daddy written on the back of them.
Many.
It's brilliant. I love it. It's great stuff. How can you go past this? You talk about social media post of the year. This has probably got to be close. This is old Brighton's work. With BT calling Zimmer's brilliant goal against Elasell a couple of weeks ago.
Who's quicker? Who's better? Who can run away from who? Checks his kick. Oh. The big bender. He has. The right foot. No. Boy, how do you do that? That's the impossible bender. What a beauty.
would just say more, please.
Yeah, that is a rip.
Like, please, sir, can I have some more? I mean, that should be. I mean, you could.
That's about as
it's
good
a bit
as
like.
it gets.
I don't know if you saw someone did the Brian Taylor Genesis Committee and Bruce McAvaney commentary of NBA. Have you seen
Yes,
that video?
I have, yeah.
That is
It's exactly the
fantastic.
same.
Same sort of stuff. Get more of it, please. I reckon with brilliant. In fact, you should be doing that.
Yeah, that's what I'm editing.
You should be editing that sort of stuff during the week.
Yeah, now they're putting the pressure on me. No, that's good.
On to the questions. Get into it.
Lenny, should the VAFA offer the AFL to trial the new potential rules?
I think this is a massive opportunity for the VAFA. I'd be ringing up our headquarters and saying, we will trial all your new rules in our games, bring cameras down, give us exposure, and we'll be the trialers. And obviously it has to be at a relatively senior level. The only issue is going to be, they're going to talk about integrity and all that sort of thing with relegation and promotion on the line. But the reality is, the rules are the same for both sides. It's still a game of football. Get on with it. The absolute outrage, and I was amazed that after Gillon McLaughlin floated that last week, how many people, the outcry that there was. And I think a couple of people even tweeted me because I was a bit pro it. I thought, yeah, why not? Trial the rules. Who cares? It's not who cares, sorry. Trial the rules. The rules are the same for both sides. Move on. Let's just have a look at it. See what it looks like. I don't think they're not drastic. Probably what they did in the PR side of things, I didn't let people know what the rules were going to be that they were going to trial.
That was the issue.
So people are uncertain. They don't want big goal squares and all that sort of thing. But I think the VAFA should definitely be saying, let's trial some of these rules.
Particularly if there was a game that teams aren't going to be relegated and teams aren't going to make finals.
Oh, for sure.
Because there'd be plenty of them.
For sure, particularly in Premier section, it could be decided in the next week or two. Last 2 rounds of the season, you could trial it, and you could have all these news cameras covering VAFA footy. I think it's a great opportunity.
I love that.
Did you put the Moz on Old Paradians on For Love of the Game?
100% we did. We obviously interviewed Chris Candelakis, the skipper of Old Paradians, last week on the podcast. And we asked him, the calculated loss, like we speak about a lot here, and whether they should have one.
Definitely should have, and they did.
And he said that they shouldn't. He said, we'd love to go through undefeated, but then they've come up against Whitefriars on the weekend and lost. So we definitely put the Moz on him. We apologise to Old Paradies, but he was a fantastic guest, Chris. So, Andrew, can South Mornington threaten in Division 4?
They probably can, purely because of the goal-kicking power of young French, who's got 79 goals for the year, with Cloak as well, chasing Chad Jones, who we just had on. They can if he's getting on the end of it. I don't think they're going to win it, though.
I just love the idea of Tiger Time for second time. No, and I know I go on about it, but I love the idea.
After the weekend, it's sickening.
And they're running it. They're running Tiger Time too. The little emojis. I'm loving South Mornington's work.
Yep. What's the women's final of the week? We sort of asked Lucy this before, but in your view, what do you think it is?
Without doubt, it is West Brunswick versus St Mary's Salesian. I just think the fact that St Mary's could knock them off on the weekend for the first time this year, going into the final, they're going to have their tails up.
Adds a bit to it, doesn't it?
It does add that little bit of spice. I'm really looking forward to that one on the weekend.
Rightio, that wraps it up for us here on the Tragics. It's been
Best case, worst case?
Oh, I didn't have it in the rundown. Have you got one?
Well, I do have one.
Okay, go with it. Yep.
Well, best case scenario, I get a Saturday morning premonition. Like I did last weekend. Take a look at this. I've sent the message and I've taken the screenshot. I had a premonition that De La Salle would beat St Kevin. So I made sure I messaged Joey Pignataro about it. So I had some evidence, and I went down to that game purely because of that, and look what transpired.
Looks very much like a doctored screenshot, if you ask me, looking at that. We'll probably have best case, worst cases next week. Enjoy the women's finals action. Make sure you get there and support the girls. Division 1 to 4, of course, is still playing footy, as are the under-19s. Huge weekend of footy to discuss next week. We'll be back then. See you then.